What's up guys, Jay Flicks here. I'm back with another video and welcome to my review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And this is once again directed by James Gunn, as was the first one. And in this one, Peter Quill, played by Chris Pratt, is still broken about the death of Gamora. And while the rest of the Guardians must rely on each other to defend the galaxy and protect one of their own. Now before I talk about this movie, I want to talk about my thoughts on the other Guardians movies. Now the first Guardians movie I absolutely adore. It's probably one of my favorite Marvel films, and it was a really good introduction to the characters because I didn't know much about the Guardians back then. And then it's still a fun movie. I still love it. It's still my favorite. Guardians Volume 2 was okay, but it was still a fun movie though, and I still enjoy it. All right, so what I think of Guardians Volume 3. It was really good. I had a really good time with this in the theater, and I really enjoyed it. I will say this is actually so much better than Volume 2. But I wouldn't say it's still not as good as the first though, but it's still a fun movie. Talk about what I liked in this movie. Now, I really like how they show Rocket's backstory in this movie, because I was always curious about the character of Rocket's backstory, because he's one of my favorite characters in the Guardians movies, and I will say his backstory is emotional, and it's probably going to be hard to watch, so stay tuned for that. But I really liked his backstory because I was always curious, because in the first one he did explain a little bit of his backstory in the first one, but in this one we actually got the full backstory of him, and I really enjoyed that. Also, let's talk about Gamora in this movie, or past Gamora actually, because if some of y'all who don't know what happened to Gamora, spoilers for Infinity War and Endgame. Thanos killed Gamora to get the Time Stone, not the Time Stone, the Soul Stone, sorry, the Soul Stone. And in Endgame, we got past Gamora. And past Gamora in this movie, she kind of comes off as a dick in this movie at the beginning, because, you know, she don't know who Peter Quill is, and she's kind of confused and stuff, so. But in the beginning, she kind of comes off as a dick in this movie, but in the end, she becomes okay. I really like past Gamora in this movie. Zoe Saldana is still good as her. And also what I really liked in this movie was the interaction between Quill and Nebula. And I was always curious to know how would they interact, because you see, in these Marvel films, I'm always curious to see how characters interact. You know, characters who never interacted before, like say like Black Widow and Scarlet Witch. I wonder how would they look if they interact, or Iron Man and Scarlet Witch, or Scarlet Witch and Bucky or something, like, even though we never really saw those two, or Scarlet Witch and Bucky, interact though, but it was really cool to see Nebula and Peter Quill interact, because they barely interact in the other Guardians movies, so it was really cool to see. All right, let's talk about Adam Warlock in this movie. And we actually thought he was gonna be kind of the villain in the movie, but it turns out he's not. Yeah, but don't worry, no spoilers in this review, by the way. But the character of Adam Warlock, he doesn't really do much in this movie though, because in Guardians 2, they teased him, and we all thought he was going to be the main villain, but he turns out he doesn't really do much in this movie. I feel like he was kind of wasted. And I don't know much about the character of Adam Warlock from the comics, but I say in this movie they kind of wasted him though. And another thing I like about this movie, I really love the action sequences in the movie, like, and I also really like how everyone got their own arc and stuff. And that's another thing I really enjoyed about the movie. All right, so my final thoughts on Guardians Volume 3. It's a really fun movie. It's really good. I say check it out, and I cannot wait to see it again. All right, so that's my final thoughts on Guardians. So comment below, let me know what you think. Make sure you subscribe. Catch you next time.